What's up, everybody? I almost said Win Daily Sports. Look at the Win Daily Heat Ratio Sports. Too many shows today, man. Too many shows today. Again, Tony Tyler, as always, Heat Ratio Sports. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're liking. Pre-game show, big game tonight, but big game was last night. Right off the bat, man. Like, obviously, Kyle Schwarber night. We're all going to talk about it. But Tyler, the most important thing, we won a damn series.
It's been almost a month, but it finally happened. The Phillies lost 6 in a row. They were on the verge of losing their 7th. They were down in this game, and they just had all the heart. They can't. Oh, I should say Kyle Schwarber had all the heart. He had 7 RBIs, but I can't stress enough how huge of a series that was just to get the season tiebreaker over the Dodgers. Huge in itself, but now I think we're going into an even bigger series because the Diamondbacks are only 3 games behind the Dodgers, and they've been really hot since the All-Star break. So could be an NLCS rematch, and that's a team you want to get the tiebreaker over as well.
Absolutely. And this is what I'm going to say. Before we even continue with this, can we just say, for everybody out there that's been biting their nails off, for everybody out there calling up the station saying this is epic collapse, this Rob Thompson needs to be fired, this team is horrendous. Guess what? Wake up, man. We still got the best team in baseball. We still have the best record in baseball. Listen, I continue to say it. Anthony DiRenzo checked in last night, said it. Tyler, you've agreed with it. I've said it. Man, let it happen now. Let it. And guess what? Best part about last night, Tyler, in my opinion, is when Nick Castellanos. I love Casty. If everybody, you're going to learn, like, I'm a huge Casty guy. I ride and die with Casty. Listen, I kind of got a man crush on too, by the way. Ask my wife. She laughs at me. But I'm like, dude, I wish I had that hair. I wish I had his swag, right? But now, in all seriousness, when he gets hit with that ball and then Max Schramm comes out and smokes Gavin Lux with the ball, like, I'm like, bro, this is what baseball is. We got Chase Utley back, man. I loved it, man. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a good moment. I said I didn't know if it was retaliation. It wasn't the first pitch. I don't think it was the first pitch. But it's definitely, if it was on purpose, I'm not going to say it. Well, in here for me, I wasn't. But you're right. You have your teammates back, and I feel like that's what this team needs. They're coming out of a slump, and they're going into the end of the season. They have to make a final push, and for you to have your teammates back, I mean, that's a huge positive thing for the Phillies.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. And one thing for positive, for everybody checking in, for everybody watching in a little bit. I know everybody's getting ready a little earlier. That guy's earlier tonight. Maybe I'll make a post game tonight. We're going to see. As long as it's like, I felt like, was it me last night, or did the game just drag on last night for some reason?
It definitely did. It felt a lot longer. I mean, when someone has 7 RBIs, the game is bound to be longer. But I mean, yeah, it didn't feel like the longest. I still think the longest of this road trip's been the first Mariners game when they lost 10-2. But this one was pretty close. That one felt longer than the one that went to extras in Seattle. But
yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, and that's why I kept looking at the time. I'm like, am I going to be able to make this, man? I was like, I want to surprise Tyler, be like, man, he's actually up. His old ass stayed up, but I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. But, the positive I want to talk about is, again, listen, man, if you're not, I say this with all due respect, okay? Like, literally, I'm not just out here giving out betting plays like, hey, guess what? We're sponsored by so-and-so. This is the play of the night. Like, I'm really diving into this, and I'm going by the Win Daily methods and the prop models, and they're there. I keep telling everybody they are there. So make sure, again, you promo code HEAT. Go to windailysports.com, use that promo code HEAT, get 50% off. Again, if you sign up for a week, it's $7.50. If you sign up for a month, it's $24.99, $25. And guess what? If you would have signed up last night, you would have hit, Tyler, because we hit 2 out of the 3 bets that we had. Now, we had the bonus bet. Bryce Harper didn't go long. Okay. Bryce Harper didn't hit the over 1.5 HRR, but Casty hit the over, which was better money at -110. And guess what? We hit the +120 Phillies money line, courtesy of Mr. Kyle Schwarber. So right now I had one person hit me up from Texas, a Cowboys fan, which you don't talk to Cowboys fans, but last night, guess what? He signed up for a week yesterday. Okay, $7.50. And you know what he said to me? He's like, Tony, I put all single bets. Okay, he signed up for DraftKings. He put $5 on the Casty bet. He won his money and doubled it. And guess what? He got $150 free in his DraftKings account. Oh, and by the way, he signed up for the full month. All for what? He paid $7.50. Just throwing it out there. That's the way it works. Now, Tyler, let's revisit this last night because Kyle Schwarber, man, 4 for 4, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, a walk. And I gotta listen, we gotta look at it. And it's just quick, a little third. Let's relive all 3 bombs in a row last night. Because if you were sleeping, you might have missed the last one. But just watch these home runs.
That one's out to left. That's pretty well hit. Hernandez is going back on the run out to the scoreboard, and it is gone. Opposite field leadoff home run for Kyle Schwarber. And right out of the gate, the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. Yeah, the 1-2 swing and a hot shot out toward right center field. That's got a chance. It is gone into the pavilion seats. 3-run home run for Schwarber. It's his 2nd home run of the game.
For Kyle, that's those big G's. Yeah.
Out to center field. That one's well hit. Going back as Pages. It is gone. It's a 3-home run game. He's hit one to left. He's hit one to right. And now he hits one to center field. He has exploded tonight.
Yes, he has. He has exploded. And here's the best part, and this is courtesy of John Foley from PHLY. Got to credit him because he threw us out there this morning in his 11 games. Look at Tyler. Look at these stats, man. 54 plate appearances, 41 at-bats, 13 runs, 18 hits, 3 doubles, 8 home runs. I mean, look, you see it right there. I mean, almost an 1,100 slugging percent single-handedly winning that series.
Yeah, he definitely has been showing out lately. And like we were talking about a few days ago, he's become a contact hitter, but now he's starting to show his power again, which is exactly what the Phillies needed at this point. You kind of were missing the power a little bit. I mean, you're used to him getting 40 home runs, and he's about 26, 25 before last night. But now he hit 3 home runs last night. He's starting to show that power again, and he's been on a tear. Is it time to say August Schwarber? Because he was out for a little bit of June. Is he revisiting those days? I don't know.
He could be. And, it's so funny because one of the things I was saying earlier in the year, I actually tweeted out because I like to keep receipts a lot. And I told everybody, listen, hands down, Kyle Schwarber is the leader of this team. Like, I love Bryce Harper but Kyle Schwarber is the leader of this team. His veteran leadership. He's won. Okay, he's come back from injury. This guy just goes about his business every single day, and you see it in the post game. You see it with his interviews, and to be able to that first home run is an opposite field home run. Now, with all due respect, I'm not going to say as I say, but my man Frank, who I saw at Pike's Pub, who came up to me after the first segment. Again, Tuesday nights, Pike's Pub, 6 to 9, live in Bucks County. You'll see me there for 3 hours talking all things Philly sports and sports betting. And he came up to me after the first segment. He was like, listen, man, I love what you're saying, except I don't agree with you about Kyle Schwarber. He should not be the leadoff guy. I said, Frank, with all due respect, he's having the best year of his career at the leadoff spot. Like, he's batting close to 260. Like, and the best thing, Tyler, is not only did he cut the strikeouts down, but he has changed his style of hitting at 32 plus years old. There's not many people that are getting a payday like Kyle Schwarber, Tyler, that are going to say, you know what? I'm going to work on my game just that much more, reinvent myself, and even do better. It's really unbelievable to see.
It is. You could tell he really cares, and he's doing it for the betterment of not just himself, but for the team. I mean, having a leadoff guy that bats around the 200 mark is not something you want. So to jump from 200 to close to 260 now, whatever he did, whatever Kevin Long helped him with, it's been working not only really well for him, really, really, really well. I can't stress enough how well he's been helping out the team. And he's been statistically the best leadoff hitter in the league this year. He's first in hits. He's first in average. I don't know about average, but he's first in home runs. He's first in RBIs. So I don't see, with how good the Phillies have been and how good his stats have been as the leadoff guy compared to every other leadoff guy, I just don't see how people can say that he shouldn't be the leadoff guy.
I agree, man. It's one of those, I feel like it's the cliche that continues to just live on because everybody was so hard against it for so long. It won't go away, man. It won't go away. So it's great to see. Yeah, here's Adam checking in. What's up, Tony? Missed you post game last night. Oh man, Adam, I talked about you off the air. So I was like, yo, I signed in. I saw Adam. I was like, yeah, he knew I wasn't going to be able to make it. Adam says he saw all the bombs. Last one was like, that guy is unbelievable. Really is. My man David checking in. Just so you know, Tyler, David's the man. David loves his Anaheim Angels. Like, he's always going to check in with some Anaheim stats, right? He's always, look, Anaheim winning the 2002. Like, he's always, which is great. I love it. It's adds a different flavor to the show. But let's get what's changing tonight. Obviously, as we look at Phillies, right? No Bryson Stott, no Brandon Marsh, no Austin Hayes. We'll kind of see how that progresses. Interesting pitching matchup here because, I look at this and I'm like, okay, Colby Allard, who really is he, right? We're not expecting a ton out of Colby, but he did help us hang in the last game. And here's Jordan Montgomery. 5 strikeouts against us, only gave us 2 runs in his last start. But his last 3, giving up a lot of hits, giving up a lot of runs, and not striking out a lot. So you see the inflated 6.37 ERA. So I look at that and I'm like, you know what? I think the Phillies could get this guy early. Now he pitched a really good game against Pittsburgh, but against Washington, he gives up 6 earned runs, and he's given up 3 home runs his last 5 games. So, Tyler, I'm not looking at a ton of strikeouts in this game, and I'm looking at the Phillies to really have a hit parade.
Yeah, I mean, Montgomery didn't have a spring training. He's a Scott Boras client, and Boras clients are always known to hold out until the best possible offer. So he didn't get a spring training, and you saw that with Blake Snell. 2 guys, Boras clients, who waited until the regular season to sign, and they got big paydays, but they have been struggling. I mean, Blake Snell just threw a no-hitter. He's having a phenomenal second half, but Jordan Montgomery's still kind of struggling, kind of fell off riding that high from the World Series last year. But he's only had 1 game this year where he's given up no runs, and he's only gone 7 innings twice. And I believe that the last time he went 6 innings was against the Phillies. So I don't think he's going to be striking out a ton. He's not the same Jordan Montgomery of old. But who knows? Like Clayton Kershaw the other night, he could turn back the clock and pitch great against us.
He could. I mean, he very well could. He had a 7 strikeout game in the month of June, but guess what? It was against those lowly Chicago White Sox. So it's not like they have a ton of hitters, and he struck out 7 against Cincinnati earlier in May. And Cincinnati's a very high free swinging team. So I could see that. Now, the Phillies are high swinging teams as well. So they do swing and miss a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see if they fall for some of his junk pitches from the left side. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little surprised. I don't know about you that Brandon Marsh has hit lefty so well recently that he's out of the lineup tonight. I was shocked.
Yeah, I think that last game, he had that bunt against Clayton Kershaw, and he didn't really do a ton. So I think Rob Thompson just wants to give Weston Wilson a chance. With Austin Hayes, a question mark right now. You don't know if he's going to be back anytime soon or if he's going to go on the IL. Interesting note, though, there's 2 Iron Pigs that aren't in the lineup tonight, Cody Clemens and Scott Kingery. So it's anticipated that if Hayes does go on the IL, that one of them will be called up. So I think Rob just wants to give Weston a chance to, if Hayes goes out, then you have Weston and Kingery or Clemens competing with each other for that last spot.
That's a great point, man, because I was just looking at that today and I was like, are we going to see the 2.0 Scott Kingery campaign? Like, could it happen? Could it happen? We shall see. That's a great point. I do, and you'll see later with our bets. I like Weston Wilson, man. I think he could be a player. I think he could be a contributor. I really do. But looking at the Diamondbacks, man, you 14-4 since the All-Star break, 4-game winning streak, and for them tonight, no Corbin Carroll or Jock Peterson. Christian Walker, Gabriel Marino on an IL. This is a different team, man. This is going to be a different team tonight. So I think we just have to jump on him early, man. If we could jump on him early, ride that Schwarber wave that he gave us that momentum last night, I don't think we look back, man.
Yeah, I think if they get off to a hot start, I think that's game because Colby Allard's a lefty. He usually goes 4 innings. So but it's a weird thing because Ketel Marte is the DH tonight. So if Jock Peterson comes in, he's going to have to replace someone else. I don't know off the top of my head who's starting at first for the Diamondbacks tonight, but I mean, Corbin Carroll's a lefty as well. He could come in as a base runner. Jock Peterson, 18 home runs this year. He's done really well. But I really do think if they get off to a hot start early, then I think it'll be out of reach by the time the Diamondbacks, maybe putting Carroll or Peterson. So definitely need to get off to a hot start tonight.
Kevin Newman will be getting a start tonight at second base for those Diamondbacks. So very, very interesting. We'll see what happens with that because listen, I by the way, I'm a huge Ketel Marte guy. Like I think he is a phenomenal player, does it all. I really like him. So I do think that he's one of the guys you have to stop, but the other guy you got to stop, man. It's one of your keys to the game. Obviously, it's number 3. I'm going a little out of order here, but because we're talking about offense, Josh Bell, man. Like this dude, and like not just does he kill us, he's like dead. And then he gets traded, he gets revived, and all of a sudden he's smashing the hell out of the ball. It's crazy, man. It really is.
Yeah, against the Padres or with the Padres in the postseason against the Phillies, he was going crazy. He had that 1 home run in Game 2 against Aaron Nola, and then played him in the playoffs last year with the Marlins. So, is this are we going to be playing the Diamondbacks in the postseason this year, or is it the Josh Bell curse? Philly killer. Every time I see him in the lineup against the Phillies, I shake my head because it's so hard to stop him. He always does something against the Phillies.
This is going to sound like a really stupid question, and I apologize to anybody listening and say, dude, how do you not know? But is he any relation to Albert Bell? Like, because he stands like same kind of way. Like Albert Bell always stood like real stiff. And I swear to God, Josh Bell's the same way. Like I swear, I'm gonna have to look that up. I gotta see if he's related to him somehow.
No, Albert Bell has an E at the end. Josh Bell no E at the end. So
there you go. See,
not related.
See, the young guy got to steer me right, but he stands the same. That's the crazy part. He stands the same, man. It's so funny. Other key to the game. Number 1, consistent pitching, right? Colby Allard, 4 innings pitched and 2 starts this season. We need a little more. Not a ton, but it would be nice to not bring our bullpen in a 4th or 5th inning, right? So I think that's key. Like we keep talking about, can we finally get to that bridge, right? When are we going to get to that kind of that rotation in the bullpen that we come to expect game after game? When the pitchers go back to pitch to 6 to 7 innings. So I don't think we're gonna get 6 to 7. That's a pipe dream with Colby Allard. Give me 4 or 5, man. Just I'll say 5, Tyler. If I get 5, I'm happy.
Yeah, and if he comes out early, you're probably gonna go to Jose Ruiz, and he's not the greatest pitcher. He's probably the lowest. He's just a long relief guy. And
Yep.
Tyler Phillips went 5 innings last night, so he had Junior Marte, Kerkering, Alvarado, Strom going in each. So I don't know. I'm assuming Jeff Hoffman is going to be making an appearance sometime this game. He didn't pitch last night. Neither did Estevez. I'm sure he's going to be available tonight.
Love it.
But we use 2 lefties. So I'm assuming tonight will be Colby Allard, Tanner Banks, Jeff Hoffman, Carlos Estevez.
And you know what? If that's that, and that should be all, if that much that we use. And as long as we could do that, that means the bats are really swinging. Our man Rich checking in says Schwarber's been on fire. They need to start it. Yep, get them 5. We're on the same. Rich, we're always on the same page together, man. We're always on the same page together. To see the Phillies scored a lot of runs again tonight. Schwarber goes yard again. Interesting. Interesting. Wonder, hey, Adam, see if you got some money on that, man. Let me know. And again, if you want to bet that, make sure you go to windailysports.com. Use Heat at the checkout, 50% off. You'll get all those sports betting memberships, all the models, all the prop numbers, and all the free promos. That's what you want, as little as $7.50 for the week. Now, Tyler, we already talked about your third because we talked about Josh Bell. Obviously, But looking at the average versus lefties in 2024, you have a good stat here. Great research by yourself. Edmundo Sosa, 289. Weston Wilson, 417. So maybe you answer my question. Why is Marshall? Well, there you go. Topper's like, yo, we got to put Weston Wilson in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, he's only had 14 at bats, but he's 5 for 14, and 2 of those were home runs. So he's definitely been slugging against lefties so far. So really, I agree with the move. I know Marsh has been hot against lefties lately, but if you're gonna have someone from the minor leagues come up, you want to see what Weston Wilson can do, because obviously he's already in the major leagues, so they probably value him higher than Kingery or Clemens. So see what he can do. You give him the chance to flourish, and if he flourishes, boom, you have another guy that you can use on the bench.
Especially if Austin Hayes, this is a lingering injury, right? If it is, this is going to be huge. And speaking of Weston Wilson, which is why I love that you put that in there, because you set it up for me. Bonus play tonight. Okay, Weston Wilson home run prop plus 500 on BetMGM, man. Like with the amount of home runs at Jordan Montgomery and how unstable he's been, on the mound the last 3 to 4 games, I just have a feeling a couple guys are going to go deep. I know everybody's going to jump on Harper or Schwarber because that's but to me, this is a Weston Wilson kind of game, man. He's going to get a nice pitch right over him, and he's going to drill it out there in Arizona. So make sure plus 500. Get that bet MGM. Let's see. And speaking of what, let's just go right back. Let's get right to it. We already talked about the promo. Obviously, 50% off at Windale using code HEAT, WindaleSports.com. Make sure you get involved. Let's go to the HRS Triple Play. Again, last night, we went 2 or 3 on the betting plays. Tonight, very interesting. Now, I just want to tell everybody something. What do the line and the numbers tell you? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Jordan Montgomery, you can already tell that he's going to be hit tonight. You know why? Because our HRRs that are usually over 1.5 were all over 2.5 tonight. There was no value. 0. I couldn't bet any of. There was no value. So this is what I'm telling you, and I'll explain it. These are the values that I came up with. These are all plus money bets too, by the way. Alec Bohm, last time he faced Jordan Montgomery, he was 0 for 4. Okay? He didn't strike out, but he was 0 for 4. So every now and then, Alec Bohm tends to press. So every now and then, on a junk baller, he does chase a bad pitch. So at plus 110, you know what? If anybody's going to strike out for plus money, I took Alec Bohm. But on the other end, because he's been so good and been so hot, I don't expect him to strike out all game. I still expect him to get an RBI because, oh, by the way, Trey Turner didn't have a great night last night. He'll be back on track. Schwarber's red hot, and Harper's hitting the ball well. So somebody's going to be ahead of him in order to get home on the base pass. Oh, and by the way, how about that Johan Rojas to score a run at plus 135? With the way that lineup is going, there's no way if he's on base, he doesn't score tonight. So 3 plus money bets. And I'll tell you what, parlay them up, give you probably about a plus 500 parlay. At the same time, put a couple shekels on each one, man. Single bets, round robin them, make some money, and use that code word HEAT for 50%. What do you think, Tyler?
I love the Rojas one because he came in last night and he was hot. He had 2 great catches in the outfield, and then he had the infield single. He's hustling. So I think this could be a Johan Rojas revenge game. Has something to prove. He's moved into that bench role. Mainly Marsh and Hayes have gotten all the playing time, so this is his time. So I think if there's any game for Johan Rojas to come out and get on base, it's tonight. And like you said, the way this lineup has been, I don't see him not scoring if he gets on base.
And that's the thing, man. The way the lineup has been, these guys are hitting the ball well, going up against a pitcher that's been hit hard. Even if it gets to a bullpen game, I still think that the Phillies bats will prevail tonight. The funny thing is, I let's see where it's at right now. Let's do this live. The money line now, I tell you what, it was heavy juiced for Arizona. When I looked at it earlier, which I was a little surprised. I was like, interesting. Like I would think based on the momentum swing that it would be a little different, but right now, listen, it's again still heavy, minus 130 for Arizona. You can get the plus money on the money line for the Phillies at plus 110. I kind of like that. Again, last night was plus 120. I like the Phillies, man. I like the Phillies tonight. I do. I think that, when they have, see, here's the thing. A lot of people will say this, Tyler. They'll say, oh, well, you know what? After such a huge win, it could be an emotional letdown. But here's the thing. It was only one player who lit up the stats. So it's not like this was a huge emotional team win. This was a Kyle Schwarber win. So even if Kyle Schwarber comes in and he's a letdown, the rest of the team will pick that up just like they've been. So you know what? I'm going to add this in, man. I like the Phillies money line, Tyler, plus 110.
I like that. When I was doing my research earlier on ESPN, it said that the Phillies were even odds, and now they're plus 105 on ESPN. So something changed. So I think if I was a betting man, I would bet that.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in for everybody because look, man, honestly, like, let's do another bonus. I mean, I love doing the bonuses. I mean, listen, man, it says something to me here, man. It says something. So I'm going to go Phillies money line. You get that right now, DraftKings at plus 110. I think that's a really good number. My man Andre checking it says Phillies winning like 5-2. Book it. My man Andre, man, he knows. My man Rich checking it says exactly. Bohm will have a strikeout, and Bohm good shit to get RBI. He meant shot. Good shot to get RBI. He covered it up. I like it. Adam says Sosa is playing because Stott's still not playing good. Yeah, listen, Stott's still got a way to go, but he'll get there. Okay, he's too good not to battle back. I will say this. Last thing I'll say about Stott. Here's my prognosis on Stott. He's a new dad. And when you have a baby and you go through that, and listen, these players still go home. They still see their wives and they're on the road to get, like, it's a lot of work, man. Like, it takes a lot out of you to raise a child. And especially when you're saying to yourself, I want to be a full-time dad, even though I'm always on the road and I'm traveling, I'm here. So he's still not, listen, he's a young guy too. So sometimes that works on you a little bit. He'll be all right. Trust me, he'll be all right. He will definitely be all right. You got some another thing in here, Tyler, I want to show everybody. Pretty good. Alec Bohm, 25 game on base streak tonight. Longest active in Major League Baseball, man. That's a good find by you.
Yeah, I mean, they show it like 5 times during the thing. So I'm like, okay, I definitely got to mention it because I didn't mention it before. I'm like, all right, let's mention it today. But yeah, Xavier Edwards on the Marlins was right behind them by a game or two. And I was like, man, I mentioned, I'm like, what's all with these Marlins? They've been so bad, but they have 2 bullpen guys who haven't given up a home run, and now they have a guy with the second longest on base streak in the league.
That's amazing.
What's going on with the Marlins?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. They always stink, but all of a sudden they got these guys ain't giving up home runs. One thing's for sure, the Mets, 1 game ahead of the Braves. Atlanta swept by Milwaukee. See, it's so funny. Everybody's so quick. The Phillies, they get a little, here's the funny thing. The Phillies get a little normal. The Phillies were normal. Look around at Major League Baseball. Everybody was hitting these ebbs and flows. Everybody. And we still have the best record in baseball right now. And what happened to the Mets? The Braves, they get swept by the Brewers, and now they're finding themselves behind the Mets. I'll tell you what, I'm shocked. I never thought the Mets would catch the Braves.
No, so for our school assignments, I did an assignment and I talked about my surprise teams for the National League and American League. I actually did say my surprise team for the National League was the Mets. So as much as it pains me, I said, don't be surprised if they end up playing well. I said, I don't think they're going to win the division or anything, but people are projecting them to be terrible. I said, don't be surprised if they're a low-end wild card team or they barely miss the playoffs. And I guess that's coming to fruition so far. But, I mean, Kodai Senga has been out for most of the year. I think he only pitched in the 1 game. He's going to be out until playoffs. But Mets aren't a team I fear in the playoffs. They're like a regular season team. They have a really good offense, but Pete Alonso and JD Martinez could strike out or home run any other at-bat. Francisco Lindor, though, very underrated this year. He's having a great year. Started off bad. They moved him to the leadoff spot. He's been phenomenal for them. So, Braves, man, I thought they were going to be competing with the Phillies in the second half, but it's really shocking to see. If the playoffs started today, they'd be out of the playoffs. They wouldn't even be a wild card team.
I think the mental anguish of the injuries finally got that Ozzie Albies injury. I think that was it. I think they were finally going, man, what else can I, and that's what happens, man. Like, it's hard. Everybody talks about physical, but it's a big mental part. It's a long season. And, the Phillies and the Braves both, I was saying this, they both battled so much the last 3 years, and it eventually takes a toll on you. So, and I think we're seeing, I think they're just tired, man. I do. I think they're just tired. You made a good point about Francisco Lindor, one of my favorite players. I know a lot of the guys at Wendell are New York guys, and they can't stand him because they think he's stealing money. But I'll tell you what, he's finally showing the kind of player that they got, from Cleveland. He's a stud, man. He really is. He's a stud. I like how he's actually come back and started to earn that paycheck this year because he's showing everybody how good of a player he is. So that is good. Frank, listen, man, Frank checking in. Frank goes back to my Philly influencer days, man. Me and Frank used to go back and forth on the Facebook page, man. Frank's a great dude, great follower, man. It's so cool that now I get to work with Tyler, man. Things come full circle. It's awesome. He says the Mets are feeble. Listen, I'll tell you what. Tyler, you hit it with the Mets, man. When you talk about JD and you talk about Pete Alonso, you might as well just compare them to Adam Dunn. And they're just like, it's either home run or bust. I mean, basically, that's what it comes down to. They're not hitting home run, not doing nothing, especially Pete Alonso.
Yeah. So my dad the other day said, this could be a bet he said he's bet on this every time, and it's hit every time. Whenever Frank the Tank throws out a pitch for a team, they win. So he threw it out for the Rockies the other day. They won. I believe it was the Guardians he threw it out for. They won that day. He said he's bet on it every time, and it's hit every time. So look out for whenever Frank the Tank throws out the first pitch.
So, we got to find out from Frank the Tank for Barstool. We got to find out when he's throwing out the next pitch, man. Yeah, what pitch is he throwing out? That's what we need to find out. That could be our own bet. That's the Mroz betting trend right there. I like that. Yeah, we got to brand that, man. We got to brand that. Listen, man, let's wrap this up. Tyler, final thoughts, man. What you got?
I think it will be a somewhat high-scoring game. Not too high, though, but Colby Allard, I'm projecting him to go 4 innings again, probably around 2 runs. My final, I think it's going to be Phillies 6, Diamondbacks 4.
Oh, I like that. Philly 6, Diamondback 4. You know what I like about that is, I know Andre checked in 5-2 as well earlier. The over-under is at 10.5 for runs scored. And I was really close to betting on the under because I was like, you know what? I don't think they're going to score 10+ runs tonight. So I think you are all spot on. 6-4, 6-3. For me, I'm going to go 2 for Arizona. I'm actually going 6-2 tonight. I think 6 is a really good number for the Phillies. I still think they'll come out. Don't forget, we got the HRS Triple play. We got Alec Bohm striking out 1 time for +110. Alec Bohm also getting an RBI +110. And Johan Rojas to score a run, man, in his highly prolific offense at +135. Always powered by our partner at Win Daily. And we got a couple bonuses, man. We got the Phillies money line at +110. And we got the Weston Wilson home run prop at +500, courtesy of one of our partners at BetMGM. Make sure you sign up. Win Daily Sports, 50% off. Use the code HEAT. Okay, gets you 50% off your monthly, your yearly, or even your weekly. And then you can go in and go to BetMGM, and then you get more free money if you're a new member for them as well. So a lot of free money tonight, Tyler. But here's one thing. I'm not going to promise, okay, but I am definitely going to try to be on the post game. Like, I am old, and I try my best. And it hasn't happened. But I think tonight, as long as the game doesn't get crazily long and there's not, I think I might be able to make it so then Adam can't bust my balls just saying I'm old and I went to sleep. So as always, make sure you go to WinDailySports.com. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Us right here, Heat Ratio Sports. A lot of more important big things to come. I got a Blue Coach Beat episode dropping tomorrow. Make sure you go subscribe to that podcast as well. Me and Coach Joe talk about hopefully getting Ricky Council on the program very, very soon. Can't wait to talk to him. He's fantastic. Make sure you're liking, subscribing that. Man, everything we're doing here at Heat Ratio Sports, only sky's the limit. Everybody enjoy the game, and you'll catch Tyler and hopefully me here for the post game, and we're talking about a Phillies win. Everybody, have a great night.